Hi, everybody. Welcome to our live yoga class. We're doing a slow flow today where it's a vinyasa yoga flow class that has fewer movements and maybe longer holds, which will really help with form and technique. It's also really good at kind of working into some kind of meditative qualities as well. When you're still in a posture that's challenging, your brain has to do something. It's either like, get the heck out of this pose, you're insane, or let's figure out how to work through this. And by staying in the posture when it's uncomfortable and learning how to work through it, it allows you kind of an opportunity to kind of work through your life, the makings of your day, assimilate all the energies that's involved in your life. So kind of think about that when you're in those poses and kind of ask yourself, what is coming to the surface for me in here? Hi, everybody. We're going for number 2 here. So hi, Gina. Hi, Jen. We are doing slow flow. And like I said, we're going to be doing a vinyasa flow class. It's a multi-level class. I will be teaching in layers, as I always do in any of my classes. So layer 1, layer 2 means I would like to go a little harder, more intensely, or more deeper. Layer 3, again, it will go to layer 3, layer 4. It's really up to you to decide where in these asanas, these poses, that you really want to stay. And Olivia, we're nice and clean back there. Let's handle that in the lobby next time, okay? All right, let's get ready to go, you guys. Let's fall on our backs. Let's fall onto our backs and then place your feet onto the floor. Let's let your knees open wide. And then we're just going to find our way into our breath. And if you can find your way just into kind of breathing slowly, we're going to see if we can move it to like a 6-count inhalation through the nose and like a 6-count exhalation. And see if you can bring the back of your neck down to the mat. If this is not comfortable for you to open your knees, place the knees on side by side with your feet onto the floor and just come into your breath. I'm going to be reading to you a little bit from a book that's called Spiritual Journeys Along the Yellow Brick Road. And we've been reading it for our stretch classes. And we've come into the portion, so we're going to read that for our stretch classes, the Emerald City. And we're going to do it here for our slow flow as well. So you guys can get a little touch. It really correlates kind of our journey on this earth with the movie, The Yellow Brick Road. And it's just fascinating. The author is Darren Main, one of my favorite yogis, super favorite author, yogi author. And this is one of my faves, Spiritual Journeys Along the Yellow Brick Road. The Emerald City will take you any place inside and show you the sights. But first, let me take you to a place where you can tidy up the wizard. All right, friends, first we're going to move into a core stabilization. And then I'll start reading to you. So we're going to bring our hands simply outside of our hips. Close your knees so that your knees come a little together, about hip width apart. And then open up your feet till they're about hip width apart. Beautiful. Now on the exhale breath, lift your hips up into a bridge pose. So lifting them up to the sky. You can see my lovely students behind me. Beautiful. And try to lift your hips a little bit higher if you can. Now on the inhale breath, come down to the earth. Lower your hips down. You can see them coming down here. And on the exhale breath, lift your hips up nice and smooth. We're maybe going to do about 5 of those, and then you're going to hold your last one. So please take your time. Go slow. We're going to get 5 full ones out, then we'll hold the 5th one. Leaving our childhood tribe is an essential part of our growth and our evolution. For some of us, this involves a physical distancing, but that is in no way required. The leaving of our childhood tribe is more of a coming into our own. It is the process of acquiring autonomy and redefining ourselves in our own way and in our own words. Once we do this, we're ready to begin building our own tribe based on our own spiritual needs and goals. There are several steps to building this new tribe. The first of which is acknowledging the sins of our childhood tribe. As I stated earlier, our parents are not perfect. And I think we're getting close to now our 5th bridge. So when we get to that last bridge, hold your lift and just stay in posture. Hi, Brittany. Hi, Olivia. Now you're holding your bridge in posture, and let's see if we can't take another 5 to 6 breaths here, and then we'll move on. So no one is perfect. Even the parents with the best of intentions will make mistakes. And those mistakes become our first lessons. Whatever a parent or a tribal member did to a soul, that soul must acknowledge it and move on to step 2. Because step 2 is forgiveness. And without forgiveness, we are doomed to recreate our childhood tribe with all of its mistakes and all its misgivings. Many people think that just because they have moved far away or stopped talking with their family, they are somehow free. The reality is they have not even begun to leave Munchkin Land. For forgiveness in its popular form is nothing more than a sugar-coated guilt trip. You hurt me, you deserve to die. But in my kindness, I will let you live. But true forgiveness is about letting go of the past altogether and seeing God in that person. So the main thing forgiveness does is free us up to live in the moment. Can you take 2 more breaths for me, guys? It allows us to see our adult relationships in clear and untainted ways. And it allows us to be replenished by them rather than held back. There's a saying, our parents are good at pushing our buttons because they're the ones who put them there. So that may be true, but forgiving them is the only way to deactivate those buttons. All right, friends, lower your hips onto the mat. Nicely done. You're gonna bring your knees up to your chest now. We've got the glutes kind of aggravated, which is exactly the idea now. And as you draw the knees in, we're gonna open the knees wide and see if we can just circle the knees around like we're stirring a pot. And as you're stirring your pot, just notice if it's uncomfortable, if it's super easy. This draws some lubrication, so it's indifferent. When you get back to the center, we'll go the other way, just the other direction so that we've got it all covered. Stirring the pot with the knees, the feet are touching. And then from here, draw the knees together. We're gonna pull them into our chest until we can rock and roll up. And I'm just building momentum to come up into a seat. Place your legs into any comfortable seat. Lotus is the legs cross-legged, although usually just a typical seat is comfortable. Karen's got a beautiful seat. You have a beautiful seat, Karen. All right, as you cross your ankles, press the knees down, press your hands onto the knees, bring the pointer finger to the thumb together, and then flip your palm up so you press through the elbows and the heart. Now roll the shoulders back, bring your chin down, and let's close our eyes. We're gonna take 3 deep breaths here. 5 or 6 counts on the breath in, hold the breath at the top. 5 to 6 counts on the breath out, pull the belly back to the spine. Each asana that we move through, we want to honor each one with this breath. A 5 to 6 count inhalation and exhalation. Each breath we want, or each asana, each pose, we would like to take a minimum of 5 breaths in each pose. So our minimum is 5. We want to get anywhere between 5 and 10 breaths per pose, and that's going to be ideal for us today. As you take your next breath, release your hands to your heart. As you push your heart to meet your thumbs, it recognizes Anahata. Simply tabletop is next. Hands to the mat. Open up your feet any way that you were and move into your table. So the hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. How you doing back there, Olivia? You good? You sore today? Tight? Broken? Anybody? Karen, how are you? Broken? Susan? Susan's hidden. She doesn't want to be seen. You good? I'm good. Okay. All right, so hands are under shoulders, knees are under the hips. The right leg is going to come back behind us. And right away, you're going to notice your body lean to the left. So put weight into that right hand pretty good so your focus is on it. You'll move to your left fingertips. Another thing you'll notice is the back of the neck. We're probably arched in our back and it's down. So if you suck in your belly and lift up, you can move more weight to that right arm. The left arm may lift up altogether. So this is what I mean by layers. Layer 1 could be right foot on floor. Layer 2, right leg up. Layer 3, fingertips. Layer 4, left arm. Now we're simply holding about 3 more breaths here, and then we hold the pose, but we move with it at the same time for our last breaths. So as you're here, just finding where your body's kind of discrepancies are, you'll notice your body lean to try to help you. But on the next exhale, bring the elbow to the knee to the elbow, and squeeze. Now let's do that a few more times. Inhale, reach long. Now squeeze and pull.
Good, let's do that a few more times now with our breath. Just kind of inhaling. You'll see the breaths aren't quite as long as the other. So it's a bit of a compromise between a nice, slow, deep breath and matching your breath with your movement. The right hand, the hand could get achy. You can move to fingertips. You can make a fist, the wrist to open. So there's lots that you can do. Let's one more elbow to the knee. And then when we come out, bring the left hand to the mat. Now just bring the knee to the nose like you would in cat. Suck in the belly, round the back. Lift the head up, push the heart forward, and try to touch the back of your head with your big toe. So curl the toe back, yeah, like a scorpion tail. Now bring the knee into your nose, suck in the belly round. So more weight in the right hand than the left. And do that again. We'll do 2 more of those. Toe to the back of the head. So it's a back bend, but it's on one side. Where the body's going to lean out if you can. So keep that right knee in. Good. 1 more of these. Lift up. Now drag the right knee through. See if you can lift up to the spider fingers and get it all the way through. If not, you might have to help it out. Walk that foot forward until it's about straight or as straight as you can get. Then lift the toe up so the right knee bends and push the right hip back, the left hip forward. If you have blocks at home, some people can place them on either side of the hands or other side of the leg underneath the hands if it's very tight and they're hard to get that leg to straighten out. It's very, very bent. You can also use pillows. Bring them on taller, but big, maybe even a towel. And the reason why I kind of like a towel is you can fold it so that it's got a bit of pressure in it so that it's a little higher. You don't sink into it quite as deep as a pillow. The right hip, though, is slightly back, which will allow you to bring the belly a little closer to the thigh. Whether it touches or not is really up to your body. I think by looking around this room, you can see, I think Olivia, Karen, and I have a nice balance between kind of where you can be. I'm pretty injured in a couple areas, so I'll be modifying as well. I think Olivia's got some too in the hip and the knee. Karen, are you in one piece? Yeah. She's kind of in one piece, so we'll see how that rolls for her. The best thing you can do is always listen to your body. And I think it's nice that you can see us moving how the body would really look like this. So as you set back into that knee, we're going to take the weight into the right foot and then drag this left leg up and just flip it over. This is called pyramid. The back heel should be flat to the floor. So maybe inch it back to make sure you got that far enough. You want about 3 feet from heel to heel. Place the fingers on either side of the right foot and then bend the right knee. See if you can push your right hip back and away from you and your left hip down and forward. If your back heel is off the floor, then you need to step up. You step back too far. If your belly is far from your thigh, you need to step back. So again, heel on the floor means you're in the right spot, and then you just let your belly fall towards the thigh. Let the forehead move to the shin. Now your hands also can be on blocks here. So if you have blocks, you can place your hands on blocks on either side. Like Olivia in the back there. She's got a block on either side of her hand. Karen's using more fingertip strength, which is what I prefer as well. So it's kind of out of the wrist. In either event, the thighs almost feel like they're squeezing together. Now, once your forehead is onto your knee, let's draw our attention simply back to breathing. Feel the breath being pulled in slowly into the nose and into the deepest part of the belly, and let it fill you up. And then slowly let it go. Good. Now, as you're here, every time you exhale, you have something in your body letting pressure out of it, like pressure out of the tire. The shoulders relaxing and melting, even despite being in this position. Feel your front foot push into the toe mound to get that hip to push back just a little bit deeper. And there we are moving into those slow, deep breaths. And maybe we've got another 2. Slow, slow, slow. 5, 6 counts in, 5, 6 counts out. You're feeling your right leg straighten more and more, thighs squeeze together. Good. Now release your head and neck by looking up towards the right big toe and then shake the head and the neck out. If you're using blocks, you can just set them off to the side. If you're not, just walk your left foot up and set your feet side by side, everybody. Once the feet are together, bend the knee. Pose, circle the arms up, sit back your heels. The toes are a bit light. The tail is pushed back. Good, and you're just sitting back into those heels. These are beautiful. All right,
The chair pose, it's going to change with what you have going on in your body. Most of us, the arms are below the ears and we're forward here, so eventually bringing them up is ideal. Once the shoulders create more space, the arms might lift all the way up. They might not be ready to do that. Sitting back into your heels, toes would now grab the floor, shoulders will melt. From here, drop the hands so the thumbs are still kind of sky, but you're about in front of your chest. Let the right arm continue to slice back. Squeeze the right knee into the left, turn the right thumb up. Pull the arms in opposite directions, pulling the right shoulder back, the left shoulder forward, and then sit back into your heels. Your gaze is either at the right side of your body or towards your right hand at the back of the room. Then as you press your right knee into your left, you should be able to sink a little deeper into this twist. 3 more breaths here, please. Take 1 more breath, and on the exhale, slice the right arm up, stand up slowly. Tadasana. Now, push your hips forward. Bend the elbows like a goalpost. Beautiful. Now open the throat and the heart. Your arms can stay in the goalpost. They can open wider. Use your intuition and let your body guide you. That is beautiful. Now come up like you're going to hug this guy. Suck in your belly. Pull it on in. That was beautiful. Exhale, forward fold. Tail down. Hands through the heart. Release the fingers to the mat. Your knees may have to bend here, so notice how much they have to and be okay with whatever that looks like. From there, look up and step back into a plank. Once you get into your high push-up, press the ground away very hard. Come up to the tiptoes, roll the shoulders back, and take 2 more deep breaths. Drop the right knee under the hip. Keep the foot on the floor or lift it up layer 2. Draw the belly muscles in, tuck the left glute, hip, move the weight into the left hand and move to right spider fingers. From right spider fingers, you can lift the arm up and you can stay there. Try to locate the lower back with your mind's eye, suck in the belly so the left hip is tucked a bit and you don't have pressure in the low back. Find the breath. You can stay on left palm, spider fingers, fake fist, whatever works for you to get the pressure out of the wrist if it's bothering you. 3 more breaths. On the next exhale, bring the elbow to the knee, palms up, shoulders relaxed, and feel free now to move with your breath here. Inhale and exhale. Nice and sweet. We can just do 2 more of these, 2 more. We're going to release the right hand. Maybe this one, maybe the next one. It's up to you, but draw the knee into the nose. And let's keep moving now. Hold your knee at your nose. Curl the toes. See if you can touch the back of your skull. Still more weight in the left hand. Lift the knee up. And now moving with the breath. Drawing the knee in and slowly kicking it away. Nice and slow and smooth now. 4, 3, 2, and now we're going to drag the leg through when you're ready. You may have to help it out. Maybe you can lift up to spider fingers, pull it through. Good. And now either move the right knee back or into the left one forward. I'm moving my right knee back because I'm out of space here. Your left hip pushes back, right hip goes forward. This is a really bad side. So here you either draw the toes to the mat, even I don't want to go that deep. Put pressure into the back of the left knee, into the glute, and then just be here. Now as you're returning back towards your breath, find that slow, that deepening breath. If you use the blocks, you could use them here again. Olivia again has a really nice demonstration at the back of the room. She uses the blocks and she's got this stuff down because she's been following me forever. So it's such a good part of the book. I really enjoyed this part. But when we forgive our parents, we can stop dating them.
They will no longer be our co-workers and our bosses. They will not be our friends and our associates. We will stop encountering them around every corner. It's not that the behavior of the people in our lives will change, you see. We will stop seeking out people who embody the negative traits that our parents had. We will start being drawn to people who process their positive. We can form new and healthy relationships out of which our own children, should we choose to have any, can grow and evolve. And once we forgive our childhood tribe, then we can start to build the Emerald City in the physical world. The Emerald City is our chosen adult tribe. It is a support system that may or may not include members of our childhood tribe. While our childhood tribe is based on survival in the world, the Emerald City is based on spiritual evolution and growth. Its members will help, of course, with survival's needs as they arise, but their primary focus is supporting us in our self-discovery, soul-searching, and our return home. Okay, friends, so just going to soften the left knee now and come out. You've been in there for a little bit, so you always want to come out of the poses with just as much care. Believe it or not, when injuries happen in yoga, they oftentimes happen when you're trying to get out of a pose too quickly. You just haven't waited long enough for the description. You're panicked, I gotta get out of here, and then things can go bad. So we're gonna bend that knee, right? And then drag that right foot up, flip it over, and put that heel down. Now you may need to grab your blocks now and place them under. You may need those towels or pillows. But now that leg is in the same position, but you should be able to surrender the thigh now. Since the legs are more even now as you approach them, framing the hips might be a bit easier, but it may not be easy. It may never be easy. I've been at this for like 16 years. And it's never easy. That's why, I called it hard yoga. And it was funny because everybody's like, well, I don't want to do your yoga because it's hard. All yoga is hard. That's the whole point of the name. It's like it's relative. So whatever's happening in your body and in your life, it's going to be relative to that. You'll notice the trends happening. You'll notice when you're under stress, how you react in the poses. When you're in stress in your real life, you'll notice how you react in the poses when you're bored. You don't have time and you have too much time. It all makes us feel differently in these things. And then they help us kind of understand a bit more about ourselves. Now this pyramid pose is a whole lot like the one you were just in. So we're going to hold you for about 2 more breaths. Then we're going to go into the quadriceps, the front of the thighs, get you out of those hammies, get the hamstrings to release. So as you look up, just shake out your neck a couple times, maybe soften the left knee a little bit so it's not so stressed. And then when you're ready, drag your right foot to meet your front foot. So Uttanasana, forward fold. Your legs a little more even now, so take a couple seconds to breathe and chair pose when you're ready. Circle the arms up, the weight's back into the heels. The arms are now up, so the heart's pumping blood up, which can be very stressful. If you're like, it's too much for me, just bring your hands to your heart anytime you need to. The hands are not working for you. Maybe you're dealing with a shoulder injury and holding them up just doesn't work, or it aggravates it. So you have to bring it down. And you really shouldn't be like one up, one down. Just bring them both down. This one's going to take one for the team, if you know what I mean. So as you're there, just reach into the sky and sit back into the hips. Can you grab the floor now with your toes? Can you roll the shoulders back? Can you work through the aggravation and the shaking body? As the thumbs lower, your chest lifts. It's a little bit easier to kind of be here. And then let that left arm just slice back for you. Now push the left knee into the right, squeeze them together, squeeze the feet, let the left shoulder roll back, let the right shoulder roll open. So what we want to do is we want to feel like they're stacking one in front of the other here. But when you do that, that right hip tries to help you out because that's what you're asking your body to do. Try to get the right hip to pull back, sit it back like you're sitting on someone's lap or sitting in a chair. Then push the left hip forward. So you push your left hip way forward. The other left. Yep, just like that. Now sit back like there's a little stool waiting for you. And you're like, man, I think I could just lean against it. So go all the way back for 3. Go for it. 2. Now take one more breath. And when we come up, it's slowly rise to Tadasana. So bring that arm with you. Your hips push to what feels like an imaginary wall. Now open the elbows, push the heart forward, then open the throat. So the neck is more neutral. It's more in the core and in our spine. Now the belly muscles are what pull you out. So suck them in as the palms come up. That was beautiful, you guys, really. Exhale, forward fold. So you should be in the camera. Your form is beautiful. All right, release your head and your neck to the floor. Soften into the knees. Just kind of hang out here for a moment. Maybe shake your neck out a little bit. Open up your toes, open up your heels, and then open just the toes. So your toes are pointed out. Lower your tail between your heels. So this is called frog or garland. I've heard it called a few different things here. So just in a squat. Maybe you're more like squatted up here. That's okay. Just whatever it looks like for you, come down. Open your feet really wide. I'm sorry, Olivia. You were there, Karen. I'm screaming. I'm just screaming behind my shoulders. Like, oh. Yeah, so you can see it's more like a porta potty for her because it just doesn't want to come down that deep, and it's okay. And she can use blocks, spider fingers, or you can just go into a pose that you can make sense of in your body, and that's okay. Rolling your foot 2 breaths, 3 breaths. So maybe draw the knees open, draw the heart forward, shoulders back, and then just find your way back. Now on your next exhale, forward fold. You should be at the top of your mat. So when you get there, just work into a forward fold. I'm going to go back up to the top because I'm moving around. The left leg is going to lift up when you get to the top of your mat. It's going to lift about halfway up. Good. Now frame your hips, shoulders down. Simply step your left leg back into a low lunge. Now warrior 2. Drop the left heel, circle your arms up, and reach the arms in opposite directions with your gaze over the right shoulder. So your front foot is lined up with your back heel, your heel to heel, or your front heel to your back arch. That will help you to understand if you're in the right spot. So heel to arch, heel to heel. Then the front knee would bend deeper to get you into the pose. It feels like someone's pulling you in opposite directions. Picture perfect right there. So once you're there, you're aspiring really to be, I think you can see perfect. And then if you were to go any deeper, which is not necessary at all, it would go deeper into the knee. But again, if you're super flexible, you're not trying to find more flexibility in the yoga. You're trying to find strength and equilibrium. And if you're unflexible, you're trying to find flexibility to match your strength and equilibrium. All right, let's take one more deep breath. Bring your left arm now in front of you. Open it up and pull it to your left ribs as your left heel turns in. Goddess, right elbow into your ribs. So your knees are bent and opened wide. You're facing away from me. I'm going to turn around so you can see the elbows are out. It's also called horse. So imagine if you were sitting on a horse, how that might feel with your legs to go into those stirrups there to the side. As you sink deeper into the hips, it's going to be more intense. If it's too intense, don't go that deep. Pretty easy. Now from here, we're going to bring our hands to our heart. Then straighten your left leg. Slide your left hand down your left thigh like you're brushing it. And get off my pants and then pull your palm up like stop in the name of love. And now come back to goddess. Send your left hand. Yeah, she was like, I don't want to do a dance party. See, Olivia was sending me some little messages. I wanted to dance them. So it's really like this. It's all going to look as I'm going to look left and left. So it looks one more time. Hiya! And back to center. You like that? All right, stop. Come all the way up. Warrior 2. So you're straightening out. Now warrior 2. Turn your body. Yeah, so your right toes are front. Reverse warrior. Left arm drops to your thigh. Right arm reaches to the sky. Lift up out of your ribs. Reach back. And let's hold for 3 more breaths. So to go out deeper into this pose, I imagine there's a little hook at my ribs and my side of the waist, pulling up to the sky, lifting out of that side body. Then I go forward in that into challenge it. On the next breath, frame your right foot. Step back into your high push-up. Beautiful. Elbows in, low push-up. Inhale, breath, upward facing dog, or you can drop your knees to the mat too if that's too much. Then as you lift up, your knees are either off the floor because they didn't come down, or they're on the floor because they dropped. So either way to come out, you're going to lift your knees up and then push back into downward facing dog. We're here for 6 breaths. Find your way back towards your deepening breath, and let's begin with breath. I remember the first time I visited a yoga ashram and spent time with some of the people who lived there. It was a profound experience. These people had all the same day-to-day problems the rest of us had, but they worked together to solve them. They approached life in a conscious way. They spoke truth to each other, even when it was uncomfortable. And they expressed emotions freely without projecting them onto others. What was most unique was the safety I felt. It was not that I had felt physically unsafe at that point, but that I was never asked for my thoughts and feelings. My crazy dreams were never embraced. Now, all of a sudden, large groups of people were encouraging such things. It was like drinking water in the desert. I wanted to stay.
In fact, I knew in my heart. Heel to toe, or just take a slow, like leisurely walk into it. From there, place the weight into your left leg, lift your right leg all the way up, and then just kind of frame it a bit. Now try to straighten your left leg out, frame your hips to the floor. Grab the floor with your left toes, balance on spider fingers. Take 2 more. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Open the arms wide, sink into the left knee. Now push the right knee back. So this is our first time in Warrior 2 on this side. So we want to get the back leg, the straight leg to lock out. And then the thigh is actually pulling up into the hip. This will give you the support to sink deeper into that knee. If it's available, it might not, you might stay there. The arms are being pulled apart in opposite directions so that when you push your chest forward, the shoulders relax back. Otherwise, it'll be hard to hold your arms up all the time, especially if they're loose. The shoulders will burn out. But if you push the chest through and engage them, the shoulders are out of it. Now you're just reaching in opposite directions, continuing to push the chest through. Eventually, the chin is directly over the shoulder. Didn't happen for me for years. I couldn't keep my chin anywhere. But once the chin is there, and it starts to break through some of those issues in your neck. A lot of times it's the traps in the shoulder area. Now maybe you could close your eyes, maybe you could dim the eyes, maybe you need to leave them wide open. Move back into your breath and see if you can't take 3 to 4 more deep breaths. Try engaging the back leg, try squeezing the thighs together a bit more, try squeezing into the floor with your front foot. Don't take 1 more breath in and out. On the next one, circle the right arm forward. Goddess. Pull the right elbow into your ribs, right heel in, left elbow, and sink. Now in Goddess, we're going to take the hands and bring them towards each other. Cross one in front of the other. Then exhale, pull them up, but keep your elbows glued to your ribs. Pull, 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 pull. Roll the shoulders back and sink a little deeper. Good. Now from here, stay calm. We'll take 3 to 4 more breaths, bringing the hands to the heart. Elbows tall, push the palms together. Good. 1 more breath. Now, right hand is going to brush my right thigh as I straighten out, and I'm going to come back to the center. Now, exaggerate it. Slice, and then back. So now you're Kung Fu master. Hi-cha! That arm comes up, and then back. So slice the left arm to the sky, too. Try. Left arm up, right arm down, and then come back to your heart. Good. Star. All the way up, straighten it out. Adductors coming. Warrior 2 again. Open it up. Push your right heel away. Good. Now drop the right arm because that's a transition. Bring the left arm up for reverse warrior. Take a moment to locate your bottom left ribs. Lift out into the sky. Sink into the knee. And now bring the chest and the chin up. Don't lean forward if you can help it. Pull yourself back and lift up. 3. Stay calm. 2. On the exhale, ride it to the floor. Back heel up. Frame the foot. Plank, look up. Tiptoes. Elbows in, lower halfway down. If you can't stay, go all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog from middle. Cobra from the floor. Use your belly. Downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths. So down dog starts to return us back to home. It becomes our home base, a familiar old friend. And I feel like it's the ride down your street from the airport after a long trip. It's just like so familiar. You're so happy to be back. On the next inhale breath, lift your heart and kind of ripple up. And on the exhale, push the chest and the heart a little closer to the mat. See if you can do that. We'll do that 1 more time. Inhale, ripple up. And exhale, press it back. Now lift the right leg up, inhale, breath. Exhale, low lunge, step it through. Drop the heel, inhale to warrior 2, lift up. And exhale, sink into it. Left arm circles forward and you press back. Oh, press back into goddess. I don't know where I was going. All right. And then from there, Tai Chi, take it and slice it, left arm up. Come back to the center and star. Up. Warrior 2 front, look towards the front and reverse warrior. Right arm up, left. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. On the next inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, step it through. Warrior 2, drop the heel, circle up. Sink into the knee. Right arm circles, goddess, elbows in. Tai Chi slice, back to goddess in, star press up, warrior two front. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, high to low push up. We're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, breath, upward facing dog. And exhale, breath, down dog. Inhale, lift right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior two, come up. Circle into goddess. Tai Chi, right leg straightens. Goddess, elbows in. Star, press up. Warrior two, front. Reverse warrior here. Exhale, high to low push up. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, low lunge. Drop the heel, warrior two. Circle into goddess. Tai Chi, right leg straight. Goddess, elbows in. Star up. Warrior two. Reverse warrior reach. Exhale, last round. High to low push up. Inhale, up dog. Hi, Jenny. Hi, John. Exhale, down dog. Where are we up here? One more round. Left leg high. Thank you. Exhale, low lunge. No idea. Warrior two, come up. Circle into goddess. Tai Chi, right leg. Goddess, elbow. Press it up to warrior front. Inhale, reverse. Okay, this is our last round then. Exhale, high to low push up. Yes? Does that sound right? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Not even the slice good. But we're back to down dog. So regardless, we're doing one more round. Right leg comes up, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. You ready, warrior two? Let's go. Circle, goddess. Tai Chi. Woo! Goddess, elbows. Star up. Warrior two, front. Reverse warrior here. Exhale, high to low. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, left side, inhale, left leg. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior two, circle it up. Goddess, circle it in. Tai Chi, right leg straight. Goddess, pull it in. Star up. Warrior two, front. Reverse warrior, inhale. And exhale, high to low push up. Now we're gonna meet back in our downward facing dog. And we've got 5 breaths before moving into our last sequence here. So as you spread your fingers wide, push your tail out, draw your heels down, take a nice deep breath in and out. And let's reconnect now to that breathing. Reconnect to that slow, deep breath in and out again. Dorothy represents the soul, the part of each being that is beyond the limited physical, earthly, and temporal experience. It is the essence and the core of our being that is eternal, unchanging, and free. Take your last breath. The soul is the I in I am, and it is the Atman. It has existed since before birth and will continue to exist after death. It is like its creator, infinite. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale is pigeon pose. Slide your right knee to the right baby finger on the outside of your right hand. Your right heel should be in front of your left hip. Your right heel should be in front of the left hip. Then you're trying to get grounded first. So you might not be grounded, so you may need your hands. If you have a knee injury and moving the knee outside doesn't work, you're probably already leaned back because it hurts. So move your knee to the center, and then you can come back to pigeon with your knee lined up with the hip versus outside the hip. Then if you're going into the next layer, elbows. The next layer is stacked palm or fist. And then the next layer is stacked palms. So find your position and let's move back into our breathing. Understanding the soul and acknowledging the power that it contains is a fundamental part of any spiritual journey.
There is little progress that can be made in any spiritual pursuit until the value of the soul is recognized. There is little progress that can be made in any spiritual pursuit until the value of the soul is recognized. So until then, the ego will surely have its way with us. But once we begin to recognize the true value and the power of the human soul, there's little the ego can do to prevent our rapid return to Kansas. Let's take about 3 more breaths here. We continue in this pigeon pose into an elaborate portion of it, so just stay here. We are all born with a spiritual inheritance, and it comes from God, and it is given freely to all beings. This gift has immense power and can be used for good or for evil. It can be also loaned to others to use or misuse as they see fit. So let's take a moment now to walk our hands up. And when you get up into your hands, lean over into your right hip. This is called double pigeon. And it's tricky because the shin and the knee and the ankle are different widths. So it's a kind of a play on our eyes. We want to move the heel forward enough that the ankle bone and the knee are in the same line. You don't really worry about the change in depth. Take your back leg, sweep it around, and I'm going to capture this ankle and hold on to it because I want to place the ankle bone onto the knee bone. Is this called wrist when they have to take the bones out? Operation. It's like operation. You've got to take the left ankle bone and place it on the right knee bone, bone to bone. Then you're kind of in the right spot. The trick is some people they don't look like that here. They look like this here. That's okay. I'm just going to say it's fine for you to stay here if you want. If you need to put the foot onto the floor, you could. If you can come down, eventually the left knee bone will touch the right ankle bone. Doesn't mean it's today. See, you'd have been a perfect example for this one because that's quite frankly what most people look like, truly. So Karen's like a yoga teacher. So you know what I mean? You are. She's just not a practicing yoga teacher. You know what I mean? She's been through teacher training. She could teach this class. She'd be terrified and mad at me if I made her, but she could do it is the point. Trapped on a desert island with Karen, she could teach you yoga. So if you're there and you flex toes back, you'd be surprised. Even those of you that just take a lot of yoga, if you had to, you'd remember this stuff if you gave yourself permission to. Now I'm placing weight in my right hand because that's where my body's leaning, and I'm going to try to push the weight back to my left hand. That's where the deficit is. You can feel it. So maybe that left knee doesn't get down anymore. Maybe it comes down. Maybe it does next year. Maybe it will in your next life. I don't know. You're here. Mine looked like that. It was way worse than that one. Yeah, I think that's Olivia's perfect because it looks a bit more like seated twist, but eventually they'll come together. Now that we've got ourselves about as close as we're going to get, we're going to go a little bit deeper with this. This one's called cow face. Not a lot different than where we're at. We're just going to bring the top foot over to the opposite hip. So my left heel went to my right hip. That's it. I just slid it up. Then I took the bottom leg and I slid it up towards the other hip. You see, so they're close to my body. And what I'm trying to do is line up these two knees so they're stacked. That may not happen. Yeah, that's about what it looks like. That's about what it looks like. So perfect. So she's got a stack like I do. Olivia and Sue are about similar, and that's about what a lot of people look like. Looks like they're trying to do a seated twist. It's not working out. The reason why I say stay there is because if you push that knee down, the top knee down a little bit, you'll feel it. You're right in these outside hips. If you come to that hip bone and then you follow it down towards the glute, if you can get your hands off the floor, you'll feel it right in there. It's tight, and it's super tight, but it's not sore. Like if you're pushing, it's not yelling at you. So it doesn't present always. Once you get into this position and they start opening up, the heels will open and then the butt sits onto the floor. And if you're like, it does? Yeah, one day it will. She's there with me. You guys aren't. So you two that are would stay here with your hands. You need them. But my butt's on the floor. Karen's butt's on the floor. If she lifted her arms up with me, she didn't need them. So this right arm's going to go up. Then you're going to bend the elbow, trying to bring your hand into the center of the back, right in between the scapula. I'll go sideways so it's a little bit more obvious. Now the head can go forward here. Try to prevent that if you can. Then slide your left arm behind you, bend the elbow, and see. Someone said I look like a break dancer. I was up here turning around in all directions the other day. Okay, so my right hand is back, and I brought my left arm back, and then maybe, just maybe they get together. Maybe they don't, and I can use a pillow. Or not a pillow, a towel.
But if I can get them together, I can pull them in, lift my chest, and then push the chest forward, pull the elbows apart. And if you're still with me, you're like, this is fine. Okay, if that's you, it happens to be you, you can layer the chest to the knee. If not, you're just staying where you're at. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the arms if you have them. Release the hands back, everybody. 1, 4. Oh, whoa. What's it mine feel like? All right, I'm going to scoot forward just because I'm sliding off the stage here. Now bring your elbows to the floor. We're going to do left side, but first we're going to do what's called a fish pose. And I'm going to do easy fish. I'm not doing advanced fish. Giving me a migraine for 4 days later. Got some stuff in my neck. So if that's you, there's layers. Chest all the way up, throat open, head back. Then the legs will straighten out one at a time. The ankles will point together, and the chest will continue to lift. 3, 4. Squeeze the ankles, point the toes. 3. Try to lift your chest higher than the crown of your head goes out. 2. Now, just lower your back to the mat. Your chin will come towards your chest. Come on down and bring your knees up. Ooh. Now, once the knees are up, you can even grab on the knees if you're real tight and pull those knees in. We're going to do a couple of those circles. Remember those circles? Now, just a couple of those babies. And then, when you do 2 at least, go back in the other direction. So, away. Oh. All right, that feels good. Let's rock and roll forward to back. We're going to go back to down dog and get into our pigeon. So, cross the ankles and then either step back to table down dog or right back to down dog. Then take about 5 breaths. So back to home base. So driving down your street from the airport. It feels so good to be back to a familiar space. The tail is lifting tall. The shoulders are melting back. The crown of your head's moving towards your thumbs. Just move now back into a nice controlled breath. Maybe just 3 more of these. So we're born with a spiritual inheritance. And in the Oz story, this inheritance symbolized by the ruby slippers. They are given to Dorothy at the start of her journey, and then they travel with her the whole way. And it's not until the end that she learns how to use them. Let's take one more deep breath here. At the bottom of the exhale, lift your left leg all the way to the sky. And as you exhale, slide your knee once again now to the left baby finger and bring the left heel ankle in front of your right hip. Slide the right leg back. You can even do a little baby back bend here. And if you're feeling good, you can come down to your elbows. You can come down to your forearms. You can come down to stacked fists. If it hurts, you can even slide a pillow or a blanket or a block under the left glute area for a little bit of support. If your knee is a problem, you move your knee to the center. You lean over to the hip, move your knee to the center, and then come back. And then from there, just find your breath. So for most of us, let me back up. Like Dorothy, each of us has a divine gift. We each carry with us the power to move mountains. But learning to use this power is a lifetime or lifetimes of work. It is not that the power is absent, but we must know where to look. For most of us, that search begins with things that exist outside of ourselves. We search in sex, prestige, food, we look for it in money, relationships, and in our work. But none of these things have any real or lasting power. The power of the ruby slippers is not found of this world. Their full power is present within every soul, but for the most, it's largely unrecognized. It exists merely as a potential rather than as a conscious reality. The ruby slippers have 3 qualities that need to be realized if we are going to engage their power and use them to carry us home. First, they are given with free will attached. God did not give them to us with conditions. We can use them or we cannot. They can be ignored or denied, and then we can use for death or for life. God will not, and we have, to a limited degree, learned how to use our slippers. The whole process of use them. Sometimes our heads and our fall at the same rate. Just because we know how to use something doesn't mean the responsibility that comes with it. Okay, let's take our last moment now and walk up slowly back into our hands. And now we're going to see if we can glide into that double pigeon on the other side.
So as you make your way up, that left hip has still got a bit of compression, so blood's not moving freely through it. From here is where we move the shin bone up, or the heel or the ankle, so the ankle bone lines up with the knee bone. Operation. Swing that right leg back around, locate the outside of your right ankle bone, place it on top of the knee bone. It's bone to bone, it's not stable. The foot might look like this, and it's okay. I just say be here. If you need to drop the foot to the floor, drop it, it's okay. But if we can get it down, we're gonna push that knee over so that we're just getting into the outside of that hip. The weight comes down so that I'm framing my hips, but I'm pushing, I'm gonna sit here and I'm pushing weight over to my right hip. I'm pushing that right knee down, or the one that's lifted. Then from there, you can bring the chest up. Now on this side, it's gonna be the right anterior deltoid that we're stretching. And for most people, if they've got damage in the shoulder, it's oftentimes on the right, and it's oftentimes in this little muscle in the front, because that's what governs that rotator cuff, the rotators. So this arm, I'm going to start with it because it's going to be the problem one. I'm going to bring it behind my back. And this is usually the problem, is the arm won't straighten or there's space in it. If I can straighten it out and pull it all the way over, that's going to be my best chance of getting there, because I'm going to bend the elbow and place the fingers in the center of my shoulder blades. Now bring this left arm up, bend the elbow back there, and see if you can find those fingertips. If not, don't stress about it. Just be there and push your hand back. It's okay. If you get the fingertips, it's a little bit easier to get that leverage, but it doesn't mean you're going to. Well, I kind of stepped ahead of ourselves, but you can do it here too. But let's do a quick stretch, because I got to get you now to cow things. My poor brain today. But that's okay. You can do it in this pose. But first, I need to release you, your arms, I apologize, and bring that foot over to your hip and bring this foot to this hip so that we can stack the knees. So we want to do those arms. They're a little more comfortable in cow face. So as I bring that heel out, I'm going to do that whole thing over. Right arm back, bend the elbow, left arm up, grab the fingertips, pull them together, and now breathe. If your hands are on the floor, you're pushing over to your right hip. And if you were to feel in there, you could feel it's very tender type. For those of you that are in the arms, you can go into a forward bend by bringing your chest towards your knees and breathing for 4, 3, 2. Now, when we come up and out of this one, stay here. We're going to go into a seated twist for our final pose. So all I'm going to do is bend the right knee and place the foot outside of it now, which should be familiar because we've just basically in these ones. You got a lot of sun yesterday. All right, your left arm comes up outside the right knee, and then your right hand will push into your tail. Now we're going to lift up, lengthen, and then twist out. If this is not accessible for anybody, try straightening the left leg out and placing the right foot outside the left knee. And then you could just start by grabbing the knee, gentle twist all the way up into the arm, and then all the way up into the elbow to the knee. And then take another 3, another 2, and then slowly release. As you come back to the center, lean back, switch your legs up, place the left ankle to the right knee, move the right heel forward, right leg would be straight for this variation, right elbow outside knee, left hand to the tail, or your right knee could be bent. Lift, inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist, look over left shoulder. Beautifully done. Let's take about And as you take your final breath, gently release out, placing your feet out in front if you want to the floor. And then when you get there, bring your elbows to the mat. And your thumbs are kind of lined up with the glutes for our final fish. The legs will straighten out as you point the toes and squeeze the ankles together. Begin to push up all the way through the chest as the elbows walk in. Feel free to open the throat, lowering the crown of your head. You're welcome to lower the crown of your head to the floor and lift the legs up, but I will not be demonstrating that. Squeeze the legs hard. Hard as you can. Slowly lower your back to the mat without changing your neck. And come down for you. Beautiful. Let your toes just go out to the sides and let your shoulders melt down. Maybe make fists and scrunch your toes just for one breath. And then as you exhale, just feel everything. Feel the toes now as they fall deeply to the sides.
Feel the shoulders as they melt back. Let your eyes soften inside the sockets and begin to feel like you're just a piece of ice that's beginning to melt in the summer heat. Collectively and individually, we have to a limited degree learned how to use our slippers. The whole process of evolution is the process of learning how to use them. Sometimes our heads and our hearts don't evolve at the same rate. But just because we don't know how to use something doesn't mean we aren't ready to handle the responsibility that comes with it. The best example of this is in the splitting of the atom. It takes a huge amount of mental evolution to even discover that an atom exists, let alone split one in half. Talk about immense amounts of energy. But once that happened, humanity has been faced with the decision to live or die. We now have access to more power than people 100 years ago would have thought possible. We put bombs with this power. Many ask why God would allow such things, and the answer is free will. Real love must involve free will, or it is not real love. There's a line in a song that says, "A bird in a cage will forget how to fly. If you love me, give me wings." The love of God is immense and unconditional, and because of that love, there are no cages. We have been given the wings to fly and the gift of the ruby slippers. The question is, when will we choose to use them?
Slowly begin to draw your attention simply to the task of your own breathing. And by doing so, watch the belly rise and fall. Feel the openness of the body, the peace, the calmness, the mind, and the equilibrium that has been balanced through the system. Allow the fingertips to just brush together. Allow the fingers to softly wiggle around. And as you're beginning to wake yourself back up, allow the wrist to roll. Allow the ankles to roll. And then when you're ready to bend the knees, bring your knees to your heart. And then draw your knees wide. Take a few moments just to kind of roll side to side, checking in with your back. And then either drop off to the side, make your way up, or rock forward to back. Join me in something seated and comfortable. Bring your hands to your heart. With your hands at your heart, with your spine tall, with your shoulders back, just gently bow the chin. Let us honor the space, the energy, the time that we spent to rebalance ourselves, to do something good, to bring life and love that will permeate from us now for the rest of the day. Just draw your heart forward, you recognize this truth. Anahata, compassion. Lift the thumbs down between the eyes and onto the seating of enlightenment together. Now take a final breath. May we reach towards the sky and continue this inquiry and growth into our enlightened path. And as we exhale humbly to earth, may compassion show us the way. From my heart to yours, namaste, friends. Namaste, you guys. Thank you for coming down, you three. Thank you so much. And you guys, thanks for joining us at home. If you're coming back to watch this later, thank you for taking time. Please leave us a comment, just anything to let us know that you were here. We super appreciate that. And as always, take care of yourselves, be kind to one another, have some fun, play some games, do some stuff you wouldn't normally do. And let's go back to the simplicity of life. And it is, in essence, yoga. Yoga brings us back to the beginning. It takes you back. When you get too far, they go to the beginning. It's always back at the beginning. And it seems that God has taken us to the beginning. So here we are. Let's take advantage of it. For all my friends out there, peace and love and light. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. And I look forward to our next session. Bye, you guys. I love you. Off the line of the film. I'm sorry. Hey, you guys. We're ending here too. Bye.